What if the world's largest prison had no bars but thoughts? Welcome to this rather special video. You'll see I'm basing this on a post by Laura P. on her social media. Some will find this completely off the mark. For those who are ready to hear another way of looking at things, I suggest you watch this video to the end. Today, we're not going to scratch the surface. We're going to take a drill and bore down to the core of the reactor where reality is made. The topic, PACTE 21, the egregoric revolution, the invisible, silent, and devastating weapon available to all. Hello to all of you, you who feel that something is no longer right. Do you really believe that the surrounding chaos, this feeling of constantly walking on eggshells, is an accident of history, a simple series of unfortunate circumstances? If you believe that, this video is not for you. For the others, hold on tight. We're going to talk about the software that runs the matrix and how to hack it. To understand the weapon, you have to understand the concept. And this concept is the most important word you will hear this year. An egregore. No, it's not the name of a new Pokemon or a piece of IKEA furniture. An egregore is a collective psychic entity, a kind of energy cloud that is born when a group of people concentrates its thoughts, emotions, and desires on the same idea. You pray to a god, you feed a religious egregore that is thousands of years old. With each prayer, each ritual, you inject energy into a gigantic thought form which, in return, influences the lives of millions of believers. It gives them strength, a feeling of connection, but it can also lock them into a dogma. The egregore has no morals. It just is. You sing the national anthem with your hand on your heart. You are feeding a national egregore. The flag, the war memorials, the collective memories, all of that is not just folklore. They are energy batteries that reinforce the sense of belonging and, incidentally, the docility of the citizen. The France egregore did not die in 1940. It was just put on standby before waking up again. And the most powerful of all today. You dream of the latest iPhone? You queue up for sneakers with a swoosh? You're not just buying a product. You are connecting to a monstrous commercial egregore built on desire, frustration, social status. Apple, Nike. These brands no longer sell objects, they sell membership to a church where the god is status, and they know it. Every idea, every fear, every hope intensely shared by thousands of people becomes an autonomous energy creature that acts in the real world. And you know what? Those at the top, they don't just know it. They are its master craftsmen. Why does the system insist on dividing us? Politically, socially, by vaccination status, racially, generationally. Every day, a new fracture, a new controversy to make sure you really hate your neighbor. The reason is terrifyingly simple. A mentally aligned people, a people that thinks and feels the same thing at the same time, is absolutely, totally, definitively ungovernable. An egregore of freedom, an egregore of popular sovereignty is their absolute nightmare. Because such a psychic force is capable of changing the mindset of an entire country in a few months. It's the tipping point effect. When an idea reaches a critical mass, it becomes self-evident. They know this. This force can inspire coordinated actions everywhere at the same time, without a leader, without an organization, without a HQ to infiltrate. Just people who, strangely, have the same idea at the same time. It can provoke synchronicities, happy coincidences, events that seem to come out of nowhere to make the pawns of power fall. It can, and this is the most important part, weaken the mental structures of submission on which all their power rests. Today, their own egregores are running at full throttle. The egregore of fear, fed by anxiety-inducing television news 24 hours a day, the egregore of consumption, connected intravenously to our brains by advertising, and their favorite, the egregore of division, which turns us into gladiators in a digital arena while they sip their champagne in the private boxes. The egregoric revolution is nothing other than turning their own psychic weapons against them. But how do you turn around an invisible cannon? So, we come to the strategy, and here you need to listen carefully. The idea is not to put on a yellow vest and go burn tires on a roundabout to end up with a missing eye, nor to play the hermit in a cabin by stopping consumption, hoping the system collapses on its own for lack of customers. These actions have their place, but they attack the symptoms, not the cause. The cause is in the invisible, in the information field where changes are decided even before they manifest in our material reality. The idea is to act at the source. The key is the synchronization of our thoughts. You find that far-fetched? Wait, let's go back a bit. The end of the 19th century. A certain Gustave Le Bon wrote a book, The Crowd, a study of the popular mind. In it, he explains that individuals in a group lose their own will to merge into a collective soul. Does that ring a bell? It's the clinical description of an egregore. And who read this book very carefully? A certain Joseph Goebbels, minister of propaganda for the Third Reich. He understood that by hammering home a symbol, the swastika, a gesture, the Nazi salute, and a simple idea, Aryan supremacy, he could create an egregore of apocalyptic power that almost engulfed the world. That was applied egregoric engineering. On the other side of the Atlantic, at the same time, Freud's nephew, a guy named Edward Bernays, invented what he would modestly call public relations. In reality, he is the father of modern mass manipulation. He was the one who convinced American women that smoking was an act of feminist emancipation on behalf of the tobacco industry. He was the one who made the bacon and egg breakfast an American tradition to save the pork industry. He didn't sell a product, he reprogrammed the collective unconscious. He created an egregore of desire. And all multinationals today use these methods, so they know perfectly well that if, at the same moment, thousands or millions of people concentrate their minds on a precise and powerful vision, this intention does not get lost in nature, it anchors itself in the invisible fabric of the world, and it begins to act. So, do you still think it's just magical thinking? Let's look at the facts, documented facts, but curiously, very little publicized. Have you ever heard of the Maharishi Effect? Probably not, and that's normal. It's the kind of information that gives people very bad ideas. In 1993, in Washington D.C., the crime capital of America at the time, a sociological experiment was conducted. From June 7th to July 30th, a group of 4,000 people gathered to meditate collectively on peace. They did not go out, they did not protest, they did nothing other than concentrate together every day. The results were analyzed by independent criminologists and sociologists and published. During the period of the experiment, the violent crime rate dropped by 23%. 23%, a decrease so statistically improbable that the researchers themselves were stunned. And the most disturbing part, as soon as the group of meditators left, the crime rate went right back up to its previous level, as if an invisible force had ceased to act. Can you imagine the significance of something like that? It proves scientifically that the mental state of a small fraction of the population has a measurable and direct impact on the physical reality of an entire city. So why haven't our governments, which spend billions on security, created units of meditators in every city? Because this experiment is the most dangerous proof there is for them. It is proof that we do not need them, not their laws, not their cops, not their control. It is proof that a group of aligned citizens can do more for peace than an entire army. It is a declaration of spiritual independence, and that, for the system, is unacceptable. If a small group could do that for a city, imagine what thousands of people, spread across all time zones, could do for the whole world by aligning themselves every evening. This is where Pact 21 comes in. The protocol is disarmingly simple. That's what makes it brilliant. No need to be a Zen master or a Tibetan monk. Just a human being with 3 minutes of availability and an intention. The time, 21:21, 9:21 p.m., local time. Why this number? For the symbol of symmetry, of alignment, it is a rallying point in time, an invisible rendezvous. While you are doing it in Paris, someone else is doing it in Montreal, then another in Los Angeles, creating an uninterrupted wave around the planet. The duration? 3 precise minutes. Not 2, not 4, 3. It's short enough for anyone to do it, but long enough to focus one's energy. Discipline and precision enhance the power of the collective act. The key phrase, repeat it mentally or in a low voice if you are alone. We are free. We decide now. This phrase is an anchor. We are free is not a wish. It is an affirmation in the present tense. We are not asking for freedom. We are decreeing it. We decide now is an act of reclaiming sovereign power. We stop being subjected. We decide. The visualization, this is the engine. During these 3 minutes, visualize a network of light connecting all the people participating at the same time as you on the planet. Feel this connection. Then, imagine the corrupt systems, the deceitful institutions, as glass structures that are cracking and slowly disintegrating without violence, simply because there is no more energy to maintain them. Finally, and this is the most important part, feel a world that is already free, just healthy, as if it were your present reality. Feel the joy, the peace, the abundance of this world. You must not hope for it, you must live it in your mind. The frequency? Every evening. Repetition is the key to the power of an egregore. Every evening we add a drop of water to the vase, and one day the vase overflows. And for how long? A first cycle of 21 days. This is the time recognized in neuroscience for a new habit to begin to anchor itself in the brain. Here we are anchoring a collective habit. After 21 days, the egregore begins to have a life of its own. Then an anchoring cycle of 3 months. Beyond 90 days of massive daily practice, the egregore becomes an almost autonomous force, very difficult to dissolve because it is fed by a stable and continuous field of energy. The effects? Don't expect to see the president resign the next day. This is deep work. The first effects are subtle, synchronicities in your life, strange conversations where people express new ideas, a general feeling of heaviness that dissipates. Then, after a few weeks, visible effects, journalists who start asking the right questions, politicians who make revealing slips of the tongue, citizen movements that emerge from nowhere. And in the long term, between 3 and 6 months, the egregore can become a cultural force, a new self-evident truth that makes the old system simply obsolete. The world as it is, with its wars, its crises and its lies, is only the product of egregores of fear and division that have been imposed on us. The world of tomorrow will be the fruit of the egregore that we have consciously chosen to create. Now the question some are asking, why would this work? And why is it the perfect weapon? It works because material reality is the consequence, not the cause. It is the projection of a collective state of consciousness. If you change the collective consciousness, you mechanically change reality. By replacing beliefs of scarcity, fear, and powerlessness with a vision of freedom, abundance, and power, repeated, nourished every day, we modify the very structure on which the world rests. The egregore then acts like a huge invisible magnet that attracts circumstances aligned with its nature and that repels, destabilizes everything that is not in resonance with it. And why is it the ultimate weapon? Because this approach is totally unassailable from a legal standpoint. It advocates no violence, no disobedience, no reprehensible physical action. It is an inner act. There is no leader to behead, no organization to infiltrate, no hierarchy to dismantle. It is a horizontal, decentralized phantom movement. The authorities can neither prohibit nor monitor it. How do you wiretap the synchronized thought of thousands of people? How do you send riot police against a collective visualization? They can do nothing. This is precisely what makes it so formidable. It is uncontrollable, undetectable, and its potential is limitless. They have the banks, the media, the armies. We have the mind. And in the game of creating reality, it is always the mind that wins in the end. This world was thought before it was built. It can be thought differently. And it starts tonight at 21:21. In summary, we live under the influence of egregores of control created by masters of manipulation like Bernays. Scientific experiments like the Maharishi Effect have proven that our collective consciousness could alter reality, but this knowledge has been carefully suppressed. Pact 21 is a simple and powerful protocol to create our own egregore of liberation, an invisible and unstoppable weapon. They have spent centuries making us believe that we were powerless. They lied. Our greatest power is not in a ballot paper or in a paving stone. It is between our 2 ears. Do you believe in this conspiracy of consciousness? Do you think that such a collective action can really change things? Tell us in the comments. And if this analysis spoke to you, if it resonated with something inside you, then the greatest support is to share this information massively. Subscribe, activate the bell, give a thumbs up, and visit the shop to support truly independent information. Be careful, the truth is unsettling. See you very soon for another explosive revelation. And never forget, what you make of what we tell you is solely up to you.